Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Andini. I'm the student of English Education Department. In this video, I would like to explain about the analyzing feminism reflected in the Best of Me novel using Betty Friedan's theory. The concept of feminism from Betty Friedan. In this concept of feminism, there are 5 types, namely the suburban woman, the American woman, the educated woman, the happy woman, and new woman. In this video, I would like to explain about the main woman character. She is Amanda. For the first, image of Amanda as woman. Amanda is the main female character in this novel. She is the protagonist who always appears at all times in the novel. Amanda has a mother named Evelyn Kohler, and she became a lover of Dawson Cole in Iraq, and as an adult became the wife of Frank and also a mother of 4 children, Jet, Linda, and Annie. Amanda as a teenager lived with her family in a small town called Oriental located in North Carolina. Amanda describes a type of woman who is a living being who grows and develops over time in life. Amanda's beauty in the novel is depicted in the quote below. She had a quick, unbreakable laugh, and when she smiled there was a mischievous hint about it. As though she knew something that no one else did. Her hair was a rich honey blonde, her eyes the color of warm summer skies, and sometimes as they scribed quick equations into their notebook, she would touch his arm to get his attention and the feeling would near for hours. In the explanation about the quote, it's clear that Amanda is described as a perfect human being, as everything, like her beauty when she smiles and laughs, her face looks beautiful. Her eyes were shiny like honey and her eyes were the color of summer sky. She had the perfect character for a woman from her teenage years until she grew up. Second, Amanda married. After she married Frank, they moved to the city of Oriental to live in the city of Durham. Her life changed when she married and had children. It explains by the quote, I thought for a year, but then I had Jared, my oldest son, and I wanted to stay at home with him after Lynn was born, blah blah blah. After getting married, Amanda chose to become a stay-at-home housewife to take care of her household needs and take care of her children. The characteristics that Amanda do is a concept of feminism called the suburban woman. Several years passed. Amanda's children continued to grow after Jared was born, followed by the birth of Lynn until she decided to quit working. The following year, Bea was born, and after Bea was born, Annette, leaving Amanda with no reason to work outside at home. It explained by the quote, we had a few years when a lot happened, including my dad passing away. A really tough time. She paused, conscious of how much she was living on. Knowing it wasn't the time or place to talk about Bea, she straightened up, keeping her voice steady. A couple of years after that, Annette came along, and by then there was no reason for me to go back to work. Then, for dessert, concern for others. Amanda is described as a woman who really cares for her family. Even though she is an educated woman, she doesn't care about the title. She has because she wants to prioritize taking care of her husband, children, and the house where she lives. Even when she was a teenager, she became someone who cared about her partner. As in the quote, even in this instance where she became truly angry, he could not help admiring her honesty, and honesty rooted in the fact that she cared more about him than anyone else in his life. A woman who cares about her partner the real feminism, or what is called the American woman. Then for the next, educated Amanda. Before Amanda got married, she had completed her education at Duke University and helped in the Great Hospital by volunteering as illustrated in the quote. After a honeymoon in the Bahamas, she started her teaching job at a local elementary school. But when Gert came along the following summer, she took a leave for absence. Lynn followed 18 months later, and the leaves of absence became permanent. After marrying, Amanda became a teacher at elementary school, but when Gert's first child was born, she could not attend to teach at the school. 18 months later, her second child, Lynn, was born, causing her to quit her job. As time went by, Amanda began to feel dissatisfied with what she had gotten when she married, husband and children. So she wanted more because she was a woman who had an education and worked for a long time when she finished college. However, she tries to keep those negative thoughts away because she realized that she has boundaries because she has a husband and children. These characteristics are called the educated woman. Then for the next, happy Amanda. Amanda and Frank's marriage was initially very happy, as illustrated in the quote below. Frank listened that time. They got, and in the end, Frank muttered a curt apology before leaving for work. As usual, she had spent the rest of the morning and afternoon doing her best to forget the whole thing. After all, there was nothing she could do about it, and over time she learned to numb herself to anger and anxiety that had come to define their relationship. Their married life is happy because of their blessed living conditions. Even though they start from the bottom because they don't want to accept help from their families, so they can afford to buy bigger house in the city area. Until they plan to enroll their children in school is happy times for Amanda, or what is called the happy woman. Then for the next, change in Amanda's life. But the situation that was initially happy and fine changed when his son Bear died. As illustrated in the quote, after that, things got even busier. Frank's practice began to flourish while she shuttled to and from school and Brooklyn to parks and play dead, with Bear strapped in a car seat between them. It was during those years that Amanda began to revisit her plans to attend graduate school. She even took time to look into a couple master's program, thinking she might enroll when Bea started kindergarten, but when Bea died, her ambition faltered. Amanda becomes transformed pushing her son Bea makes her ambitions and talk about continuing her education very deep. His thought on their marriage had changed, and losing Bea was such a hard thing for him, and to pretend that nothing had happened in their marriage, and it was hard to think that their marriage was still the same as it was. A year on, her husband Frank's changes are getting worse, making Amanda even more stressed about their marriage. Increasingly, she could not imagine how Frank, her husband, whom she had known, that they married. Amanda became unhappy with her marriage, caught in a state of confusion about herself and her life and her marriage. By the quote, after she died, part of me died too, and for a long time Frank and I could barely look at each other, not because we were angry, but because it hurt. I could see Bea in Frank, and Frank could see her in me, and it was unbearable. As illustrated, Amanda loves her son Bea with all her heart, and is the same as her husband. When Bea died, the living part of Amanda died with her too. This is the main problem that makes their marriage problematic. When Frank and Jared get into an accident, Amanda feels something different for the first time. Amanda is transformed and cares about her husband and children. The feeling of being afraid of something happening to them makes her mind uneasy. After they got off the hospital, their lives changed, as described in this quote. The road ahead would be challenging for the entire family, but where there had once been nothing but despair, Amanda now felt hope. After several things that Amanda experienced, including with Frank's change to become a better person, Amanda finally felt the hope of continuing their marriage and family life. Like in the quote below. Amanda's life changed to be filled with happiness and start a new life, with a calmer mind and a more mature person in order to get better life for herself, her husband, and her children for the rest of their lives. Amanda transformed into a new woman as Betty Friedan described above. So, for the conclusion, the story began when Amanda married and became the suburban woman, and then when there were changes and supporting situations, so that Amanda became the American woman. On the basis that Amanda as an educated woman made Amanda the educated woman. Their happy married life made Amanda the woman, and their journey of married life, which had many problems, made Amanda a new woman. So, in this novel, Amanda got 5 types of feminism according to the difference. Okay, that's all. Let's say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.